In this episode of Detroit Performs, a Detroit ballet company with a twist, an abstract artist, and payphones transform into time capsules. It's all ahead on this edition of Detroit Performs.
Funding for Detroit Performs is provided by the Fred A. and Barbara M. Erb Family Foundation, the Kresge Foundation, the A. Paul and Carol C. Scott Foundation, the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs, the National Endowment for the Arts, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Detroit Performs. I am your host, DJ Oliver, and today I am at the historic Redford Theatre in Detroit. The theater is owned by the Motor City Theater Organ Society, which is dedicated to the preservation, understanding, and enjoyment of the theater pipe organ and the promotion and presentation of classical films and art. Our first segment features a professional ballet company that performed right here at the Redford Theatre. Ballet Edge Detroit is dedicated to bringing ballet to mainstream audiences by mixing their classically trained technique with some edgy, up-tempo beats. Check it out.
Ballet is not just an activity or a hobby, it's a lifestyle. I've always loved movement since I was a child. I was actually more of a late bloomer when it came to ballet. I started around the time of 13 years old, but I loved it since.
Ballet is something that I have done my entire life. It's just been this passion inside me, and I've always kind of wanted to get back to it. So a few years ago, I got back into ballet.
When I first moved to Detroit, I felt like I really needed to find my passion and establish more of an identity for myself. So I went back to taking dance classes, and I realized how much I missed it. And that's how I started meeting these wonderful dancers in class.
Meeting Angel, really just the passion for ballet that we both had was our instant connection. And we didn't really see any ballet companies in Detroit. Most larger cities do have ballet companies, and we thought that this would be a great chance to really try to bring that ballet, that art, back to the city.
And we decided to start working together after class and learning choreography together, and performances started popping up for us. So that's how Ballet Edge started.
All of dance just brings a different connection to people. It's something that's expressive, and people can come and just step away from all of what's going on in the world and just come and watch something entertaining and something fun.
Our mission is to bring a bold and innovative twist to ballet through using our trained classical technique, but putting more of a relatable, modern twist on it so that all audience members can relate to our choreography.
We're really trying to bring a new, refreshing outlook on ballet to Detroit. Our name is Ballet Edge Detroit, so we try to be edgy and different, and we kind of try to break the mold of what people typically think of classical ballet, that it's just tutus and classical music. We really try to bring something fun and unique so that everyone will enjoy it.
We're trying to attract all people to our performances, not just people who are really familiar with ballet. So in order to attract all of Detroit, we need to have dancers that each audience member can relate to. So maybe an audience member will say, oh, I can relate to that mom. I can't believe she's dancing out there still. She's got kids, but she's still holding on to her passion.
I think that it's very important, especially as women and for those of us who are mothers. A lot of times we put ourselves and our passions and our dreams and what drives us, we put those on the back burner to be there for our family. So it's great to kind of reclaim some of that and kind of remember who you are. Everybody just comes from different walks of life, and everyone has their own little backstory before they come to Ballet Edge. I'm a huge advocate for following your dreams regardless of where you are, age or stage in life.
I think one of the things that makes us different and perhaps mature is that many of our dancers have done other things in their life, such as work or gone to college, and those experiences make us very comfortable with who we are and made us realize how much we love dance and make us come back to dance. So we are experiencing the best of both worlds.
I think it's so cool to go to my job and people are like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? And I'm like, oh, I've got a 5-hour ballet rehearsal. And they're like, wow, that's so amazing. And it is amazing, but I think it's inspirational because now other people can see they can do that too. Not only with dance, but whatever your thing is, you're never too old or too busy. The situation is never too chaotic for you to remember who you are.
This group of women is incredible. They show their personality, whatever the musicality or the artistry calls for, whether it be sad, happy, serious, exciting, they can do it. And you'll be able to see that in all of the pieces that we showcase.
We're going to be getting ready for our show. We've got some large group pieces, we've got some small group pieces. We're going to be cleaning. We just finished learning all of the choreography, so now we make sure everyone's looking the same way and everyone's arm is the same way. So it's going to be kind of a wide range of things.
Angel Avery does all the choreographing. She's really open to listening to everyone and making sure that we all feel comfortable in the dance because, that's how we're going to be the best that we can be, is if we're all comfortable with what we're doing.
Angel is a great choreographer. I think she has really interesting ideas when it comes to choosing music.
I pick out the music first. I listen to the music over and over and over again, and I see the choreography in my mind, and that's how I choreograph. We try to portray what the music is trying to tell. So, for example, we do a piece called Embrace, which is to Vivaldi's Winter. And that is more about friendship and our relationship together as a company. We all get along and we truly embrace each other's presence. We've done a piece to Game of Thrones, and that's really to portray the theme of that wildly popular show. It's very serious, it's about battling and trying to be in power. We have a piece currently to Beethoven's For Elise. And these are all songs that the majority of people will recognize, and they get drawn in, they get hooked in, and they end up enjoying the pieces.
Bailing is very challenging. It requires a lot of discipline. We've all been training for 15 plus years.
We are all top professionals, and we work really hard. Ballet dancers have great stamina, they have great flexibility, they have the discipline to come to class, to stay in shape.
And I think that the talent that's in Ballet Edge is just phenomenal. It's unbelievable, honestly, to me, to know that there are so many talented, amazingly talented dancers that are right here in the city.
Typically when people see a ballet company in Detroit, it's a ballet company that passes through Detroit and leaves. And we are making ballet accessible to Detroit neighborhoods. We keep our pricing affordable for everybody to come see us. We are homegrown and we're proud to be Detroit.
I'm so grateful for Ballet Edge. I think that it's so great for so many different women to be able to come together in the name of ballet and put together something so professional and something so unique and something so entertaining.
Long-term goals for Ballet Edge Detroit is really just to continue growing the ballet company. We would love to have more dancers and really be able to put on more shows.
I think that the climb that Detroit is making right now, really all it's missing is some ballet. So I'm really excited that Ballet Edge is right there growing with the city and making the presence of ballet known in that growth.
You can learn more about Ballet Edge Detroit as well as all the artists that we feature on DetroitPerforms.org. Next up, Sculptor and Smith explains the meaning behind her unique pieces.
I think from a very early age, I understood that anything that was worthwhile to me was only achieved after some time and after a great deal of effort. Just repeatedly experiencing that scenario where something that I did off the cuff either wasn't good or failed miserably. It just didn't feel like my best effort. It wasn't something I could feel proud of, which brings me a great deal of anxiety. So I felt comfortable with what I've produced. So I put a lot of effort into thinking about it, sketching it, and determining what the outcome is that I'm shooting for. Am I going to die if the outcome is not that? No, because life happens and you're like, oh, that's really interesting, I'll incorporate that. But as opposed to just being a casual participant in your own life, I've got enough of that. This is something that I can determine what I want it to be, and I can actually make it be that with some effort, with a great deal of effort. Some people, in looking at the orange piece there, they thought it looked like exploding body parts or things that were toxic, and I think, well, that's certainly not what I put into it. I mean, what I put into it was, you know, the efforts that go into a week and the melting that you feel at the end of the week and the things that you do to nourish the spirit and to keep yourself going. So for me, the legs there, they're milkweed pods that are opening. And if you see a milkweed pod when it first opens, there's the fibers and there's the little seeds. And the little seeds slowly drop down, and then the milkweed fibers with the seeds blow away. So here they are, still intact in the pod. So for me, that's a nourishing thing. It's something from nature that is natural, is organic, is good, and they were seeing something toxic. So what I put into it is very personal, and if someone has the same sort of connotations with nature that I have, they might get some of that out of it. I hope that they can connect with it enough that it makes them think of other things, perhaps from their own life. I hope that it's a point of departure for further conversation. If they have a totally different experience of it than I do, then I don't even have anything to talk about with them. You know, so I hope it's a meeting place, either with similar experiences or, you know, it's a conversation starter. Where does that go? Does it diverge, or does it come closer to a similar conversation? This skeleton behind me is in its very early stages. I work from drawings, and the drawing for it is behind on the screen there. So I work in my sketchbook a lot, and you know, sometimes there's words, phrases, whole paragraphs, and then I'll respond to what I'm writing and drawing as well. And I'll do a lot of drawings, and maybe I'll write a few more words. Eventually, I do come up with a drawing that seems to fit what I'm feeling at that moment. And I work abstract pretty much, but it's all human referential for me. Even if it doesn't look like it, it is responding to people in my life, happenings in my life. So they are referential to the life I am living. It's hit or miss trying to. Sculpture is a little bit more difficult than painting or something like that, or drawing where you can just pick up something small and have at it. You need more tools for sculpture, so getting back around to it took some time, but in the process, I became a certified welder. You know, just if you take enough classes and if you present your certification plate, you know, suddenly you're a certified welder. Due diligence to your own life. If this isn't working, make it what you want it to be. So in that regard, I really do take responsibility and take control of that original vision I had. And if it's not meeting that, then I do get out the angle grinder, take the cutting wheel, whatever, and cut that piece off, remake it, or take something else from a different piece that worked better and make it do, you know, what it was intended to do for this piece. So I'm not against recombining things, but I really am dedicated to that original vision I had. Again, something that I can control. There's so many other things in life that you just have to go with the flow. And this, I feel, is one of those instances where I don't have to. I don't have to go with the flow. I can really make it what I want it to be. I mean, in that regard, my art, am I making it for other people? No, I'm making it as a point to connect with other people. You can say it's an egotistical pursuit on some level to think that I can make this big piece and someone might want to buy it so I don't have to store it. So that's a superior folly to me to think that I can make something and it'll go away magically. But I've sold some work, so I'm grateful to those people. And I keep doing it because it gives me a reason to keep moving forward, to not stagnate and make memories, because I don't remember things. So if I make new things, I don't have to remember the old things. I don't have to remember the history. I can look forward and I can invent new things.
What's up, guys? I am here with board director of the Redford Theatre, Steve Overstreet. How you doing, Steve?
Good, thank you.
All right, man. So this is a full circle moment for me, man. Now we are here in the Redford Theatre. Now what you don't know is that I used to go to high school around the corner where there's now a grocery store.
Redford High.
Redford High, man. I used to get off the bus stop every day and pass by this theater so many times, man, and never knew what was in here. So can you tell our viewers out there a little bit about the history of this theater?
So the history is that it was built in 1927. We opened in 1928, January, and it has never been closed. So it's a continuous operation theater. It is now also a performing arts center. And it's an amazing place because it's 100% volunteer owned and operated.
And what kind of shows do you guys even have here?
We have all kinds of classic films, old classics and more modern classics, and we do a lot of different kinds of things. 2 weeks ago we had Ballet Edge, a ballet company that came in. We have high school graduations, we have parties, anniversaries, live shows. So, I mean, amazing things.
Yes, we've been walking around here, so what kind of atmosphere are people in for when they come to this theater?
We try to turn every movie into an event. We have, just like they did in 1928, early 20s, we have an intermission. We have a theater stage that opens up to reveal the screen. We have an MC.
Can you talk about the whole theater pipe organ?
Yes.
So how often do you see a pipe organ in a movie theater?
It's becoming more and more rare. We're one of the few. This is an original pipe organ. It was built for this theater, and it's been in continuous use ever since '28. We show it a 30-minute concert before every movie and many of the events, and it's quite an amazing instrument considering it's not electric, it's all air.
And what's your favorite part, Steve, about working here at the Redford Theatre?
My favorite part is that I'm now in charge of the restoration, and this is, even though it's really done, there's always more things going on.
Thank you so much, Steve.
My pleasure.
Now let's check out some upcoming events happening in and around the D. A group of Houston, Texas artists collaborated on an interactive project that uses decommissioned payphones to tell the story of an historic neighborhood.
I personally consider Third Ward the cultural epicenter of Houston. It's a predominantly African-American area. I look at Third Ward as like the Harlem of Texas, or the Brooklyn of Texas. You know, it's a place where everybody comes. Either you eat, you go to school, you meet people, and that sort of thing. There's all kind of cool things to do on the Alameda Strip and Emancipation Corridor Strip. A lot of thriving businesses and that sort of thing. and a lot of artists live here.
So the Truthfulness project is a collaboration of 24 artists and residents in the 3rd Ward. They're repurposed payphones that have been hacked and programmed to feature audio that is from the 3rd Ward.
It is a beautiful dream realized.
There's 3 visual artists. There's 3 ambassadors who also curate the payphone.
My name is Kofi Tahaka. I have the privilege, the honor, and the responsibility.
And then we worked with 18 residents that are historically relative to the area based on like history. Or musicians, local musicians that have been in the community for years.
All right, how many hip hop heads I got in here?
All of the ambassadors or curators, we all live in the community. So this is not, you know, a news story or something that goes off. We lived it.
There's 3 phones. One of them's got songs from 3rd Ward musicians. Another one's got spoken stories of history from 3rd Ward residents. And the 3rd one has field recordings of the neighborhood at significant locations. So as soon as you pick it up, it gives you instructions and an introduction, a brief one from all the 3 ambassadors for each phone. And whenever you push one of the buttons 1 through 9, it'll play you either a song or a story or a sound, depending on which phone you're at.
So I'm listening to the Jack Yates family right now, and I know them, but I'm learning some stuff I didn't know. Yeah. It's really interesting.
And whenever you hold star, it records your voice onto the handset.
You do this.
When you hit 0, it'll play back your recording so you can leave a message for the next user. And whenever you hit the change release button, it'll play you another little Easter egg.
The change you're looking for starts with you.
And if you hold down the coin release switch at the top of the phone, it'll play from an external speaker, so you can hear it with multiple people.
And there's something about pushing a button also that's very satisfying, at least it is for me, as opposed to these fake buttons that we use on the phone on interfaces, right? It's fun.
Well, it's quite funny. I'm a pretty hardcore activist dealing with issues that confront people of African ancestry. And when I was invited into the project, I didn't know how that was going to work out. But it worked out tremendously because they allowed me an opportunity to put forward the stories, the foundation of the 3rd Ward community. And they did the artistic part, which has been a beautiful marriage.
My particular phone is called the Trisonic Sounds Project.
What do I love about 3rd Ward? What's not to love about 3rd Ward?
And it's really cool. I also have haikus on there. You know, I did some haikus on gentrification and how I feel about that. It's vintage, but it's also futuristic at this point because a lot of people haven't seen a payphone.
I think there's this sense of like uncanny, and I think that's really exciting.
Today, I'm speaking with the founder and executive.
It opens up something inside you, like, what is that? I'm interested.
When you invest in the people, salvation is in line.
I was privileged to have been around when payphones were pretty much everywhere, and now they're not. You know, now it's like you'd have to really dig to find a payphone. So here we have these time capsules with our own spin on them, own unique creative spin on them, and they're really cool. They look great. They're wonderfully crafted, and they're for anybody to enjoy out in public, and you don't have to even put a quarter in it.
So this phone, when we talk about 3rd Ward, it's talking about major institutions like Texas Southern University, Emancipation Park, and many others. And it's coming from people who actually lived, have worked this particular history. And there's no filter between the people who pick up that payphone and hear the stories, our story told from our own perspective. Being in the artistic realm has helped expand my horizons and the way I look at the world and how we can change things.
We are phenomenal people. Forward ever, backward never.
You're in 3rd Ward and this is the history. And this is a way to ingest that history and know.
We are phenomenal people. Forward ever, backward never.
And that wraps it up for this edition of Detroit Performs. As always, for more arts and culture, head to DetroitPerforms.org, where you'll find featured videos, blogs, and information on upcoming arts events. Also, check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'd like to thank the Redford Theatre for letting me tour this historic theater today. Next time you're thinking about a movie, I suggest you come here. Trust me, it's going to be a great and unique experience. Until next Tuesday, get out there and show the world how Detroit performs, y'all. I'm DJ Oliver. Thanks for watching, guys.
Funding for Detroit Performs is provided by the Fred A. and Barbara M. Erb Family Foundation, the Kresge Foundation, the A. Paul and Carol C. Scott Foundation, the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs, the National Endowment for the Arts, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.